everyone's done better, served more people immediately. And I'm not an instant results guy, but that's been the result. And I'm kind of addicted to chasing that feeling now.
All right, it's Dino here with the Way Podcast. Now, usually I just roll off and say all these things that you're about to hear, but I got to tell you, it's just like, I got so many darn notes, I don't even know where to begin, because Sean Herrero came in and just offered nothing but value. He told me at the beginning, he goes, if I'm going to do this, I want to make sure I give people enough value. And he did. There's a few things that I'll just say that it's worth like listening to the whole thing for. Number one is mindset. He's really big on mindset, and it's like the buffalo. You can either just sit there and try and wait out the storm, and who knows how long it'll take, or you might die by freezing to death, or you can just go straight into the storm. And the faster you get through it, no matter how hard it is, you're going to end up with sunny skies at the end faster than you would any other alternative way. So that's one thing. The other thing is his open house strategy. Super impressive. Most people put together flyers. Most people put together things that they think is what's customary for an open house, but he's got a whole different strategy. He talked about like psychology of, home buyers when they walk up to this open house. What are they thinking? So I encourage you to also think about that. Walk up as a home buyer and ask yourself, what would I be thinking by walking into this? And then what kind of value are you going to give those people? Now, I'm not going to give it all out right now. Sean is probably 70% into the podcast. You're going to hear all about it. It's brilliant. And it's one thing you can immediately do to change your business. So go listen to it. And there's a ton more. Don't even know where to begin with them, though. There's just a ton. So I hope you guys enjoy the show. Sean Herrero, to me, you're a legend, dude. Like, I don't know anybody who does the kind of volume you do as a one-man show. So first, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Dude, I'm so grateful to be here. Thanks for having me. I love chatting with you.
So, dude, I met you the first time, and you were self-proclaimed like you don't like going out to a lot of stuff. You don't like doing this. You don't like even talking to a lot of people, but yet you talk to a million people every day.
Yeah.
You really are very personable. I've been just watching you over the last, I'd say year and a half. And you even have your own thing that you do down in Newport Beach now where you're training people. Like, for a guy that I thought doesn't like to do all of this extroverted stuff, you really are out there.
Yeah. I mean, I think do things with purpose and intention. If it's not one of those two things, I'm not all that interested in it.
It was funny when I was preparing to interview you, I was just kind of thinking about what I know. I was thinking about what I've seen, was putting stuff in. I wrote something down here and it says, doesn't like to do stupid shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like that's what I thought about when I thought you don't have time to waste on stupid shit.
You said it way better than I did. I'm stealing that.
All right, dude. So let's start. We interviewed you before. You were episode 13 in season 1. We're starting season 2. Who are you, just for the people that don't know you personally and professionally?
Yeah. So I'm Sean Herrero. I've been in mortgage since I was 21 years old. So this is, I guess that would make this year 24. I was a wholesale rep when I started, jumped onto this side, being a mortgage advisor in January of 2017. Simply because I went broke, trying to help loan officers do more business, and realized I was too far removed from what would actually help make me money. Having your income be dependent upon the work ethic of others is not a great place to live. So I said, put your money where your mouth is if you think you're so good at this. So here I am, was top 1% in the country my first year, have kind of grown over time. I never thought this number was never in the realm of possibility. It wasn't something I ever set a goal for, but I did 220 million in 2021 with me, an LOA and a processor. And that was like a very pivotal moment for me, because it was like, wow, if you can do this, maybe you could do more, if you added more people eventually. And I'm working on the eventually part right now. But that's it. Like, really, and Dino, you kind of said this earlier. It's like my identity has been this do a lot of volume as a one-man show for a long time. And that's because I want other loan officers to know that, if Sean can do it, so can I. I wanted to remove the the misconception that you have to have a big team to do volume. I also at the same time don't think volume should define you. Like if you don't want to do a lot of volume, don't feel like you have to. I just love the challenge of it.
Yeah, you're right about that. I gotta say, there's this guy in my men's group at church, and such an intelligent guy. And every time he talks, like I really see that he's thought through his rationale of how to say. And when he executes, it's always brilliant. And seeing him operate, he's very intentional. Like to him, he's not in the mortgage business, but I'm gonna relate it a little bit about volume. The money doesn't matter to him the way the experience does. So him and his wife and his two kids, they got a van, they get in it, they go to Baja all the time. They live, uh, let's call it as poor as possible in relative terms to other people around here.
Yeah.
But their experience is off the charts better than all of us.
Yeah.
And they're so like beautiful in that way, So I love what you said about don't let the volume define you or be something that it doesn't matter if that's not what you want. Because you can do a quarter of what you did and live a very good life.
Yeah. And well, I choose, I think you and I choose to live in really expensive areas. So maybe not a quarter, but yeah, it's fun for me. I enjoy the challenge and kind of what you made, when you were describing your friend, what it made me think of is I think money is the byproduct of service with what we do. I'm not doing what I do for money, but if I serve lots of people, the money is the byproduct. And that's kind of how I look at it. And I think you're absolutely right. Like what's the saying? Everybody dies, but not everybody lives. Like your friend is truly living and that's with purpose, intention on their own terms. And if you're doing this job just for money, I think you completely miss the boat on what this industry can do for you.
Yeah, and I'll dive into that in a minute because it's important. I think like most young men, right, or people in general, we started wanted to make money and it was important and all this. And it was like when I started, I used to wear a suit every day. And then when I started making a little bit more money, I took off the coat and the tie and I just wore slacks and a shirt. And I made a little bit more money and it was a golf shirt. I made a little bit more money and it was shorts and a golf shirt. And now it's like shorts, t-shirt, and flip flops every single day.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's like my need for money changed and it turned into my need to actually serve people. And I truly, truly like think about it that way. If I can serve people and the money is a byproduct, the second you start becoming that person, the real authentic person that just wants to serve.
Yeah, and your progression of attire is the same as mine, but mine was more authenticity, right? If I wear a suit and a gold watch and drive a fancy car, like I don't want people to feel intimidated to ask me questions. And I don't want to, I don't want to look expensive, right? So and I was like, well, maybe so my progression was maybe I could take the tie off, maybe I could take the jacket off, maybe I could wear a polo, maybe I can wear jeans. Maybe I can wear a white t-shirt. Nope, that's too casual. A black t-shirt seems to be okay. And it was just I want people if you believe that you come from a place of service not sales, I want people to feel really open to asking me anything and I want to be relatable to them. And that's kind of what that path was. So it's interesting for you to say I went from here to here and we've arrived in the same place. Like I'm in shorts and a t-shirt as we speak as well. And but it's because you're being your authentic self and the people that you're supposed to serve will be attracted to that. And the people that want you to be in a suit that want a suit, they'll go find it somewhere else. You just align with who you're supposed to serve.
So I think this is important because my whole method, and I'm not producing anymore, but when I was, and I still feel like I do because it was such a big part of my life for so long. And it was so important to me, right? Like I loved producing. I really did. There was this one loan officer that worked for me one time and he thought I almost felt judged. Like he thought I was a little too casual. Not only in the way I looked, but also in the way I talked to my clients, the gifts that I gave him, all the different things, right? He was so stuffy in his own like way. And I thought, and I even told them, but it's sometimes it is what it is. That's his personality. you don't connect with people unless you are your true authentic self. And when they are like that, that connection, that bond will last the whole 30 years. It'll last your entire career. It's just stop trying to be somebody you're not.
Yeah, yeah, and to your point, so by no means do I want people to watch this or listen to this and be like, "Oh, if Dino and Sean wear t-shirts, I should wear t-shirts." If you love wearing suits, you should wear a suit because and if you want to be stuffy or not want to be, but if you are what would come across as stuffy, there are people that are looking for that. Just just be you, don't try to be something else. And it's I always say if I'm going to lose, I want to lose quickly. Um if I'm not right for someone and they go, I don't want to work with that guy because he just wears a t-shirt, he should dress up more. No worries. Like that, I'm not right for them. And there is somebody who dresses up that maybe they're going to want to work with more, but I'm not going to be a chameleon. I'm here for the people I'm here for.
Yep, 100%. Okay, so let's keep moving now. This year, I think year to date, you've done what, about 110 million?
Yep. 110-ish. Yeah.
And how many units a month is that?
So we've been averaging about 17 units a month. I'm trying to do 30. So I'm a little off my goal. We did 30 million for 30 units in March of this year. Me and a processor, I did not have an LOA at that point, and that was a big milestone goal for me. But my problem is now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. So that to me, that should just happen every month. So
Do you have an LOA now?
I do. She started with us about 2 months ago, and we're making good progress.
So this is interesting because usually everybody I'm talking to, I try and like hit these milestones. Like, when did you hire your own processor? When did you hire your own LOA? And then there's this learning curve. So now, I mean, you're smart enough to know how it all works, but you're probably somewhat of a control freak since you've been doing this by yourself for so long. Are you even utilizing the LOA properly, or are you
No,
finding yourself doing things?
I'm still doing things. I am an absolute control freak. I have a really hard time letting go. But it's not. I don't think it's because I'm a control freak. I have a very hard time asking things of people, just any in personal and business. Like I just won't ask for help, even if I hire someone. I have a hard time. I was like, hey, I know you're not supposed to do this, but what would you think about ordering or closing gifts? And she's like, yeah, totally. I was like, oh, I was so scared to ask, but that's just who I am, and it's not a good thing, right? Um, but I'm growing through it. And so, having her and being like, Sean, it's okay to let go, is what we're doing. And ultimately what I wanted for an LOA was like an upfront underwriter, which is what she is. And that's why it's like, hey, I know this isn't in, the wheelhouse. This wasn't our initial. She's like, Sean, whatever moves the needle and gets us moving forward and creating a better client experience, like we're all in it together. And that's really what I look for, is like that team camaraderie.
Do
So
you still put together loan applications?
I do. Most of mine are done online, but I review. So she'll do income asset credit review, but I'll jump in maybe 10-15 minute review of everything to kind of know where we're headed. And then she'll review income. But like this morning, I jumped into one and I couldn't help but peek at the pay stub because I was like, okay, this is going to work. But I was like, dude, stop doing that. Like it's only 5 minutes, but it's 5 minutes.
That's too funny, man. All right. Here's what I want to figure out with you
Yeah.
is there's different pillars of everything that we do. And in order to be successful, you have to hit a little bit of all of them, right? So I want to find out what those pillars are for you. Maybe it's only 2 or 3, maybe it's 5.
Okay.
But like marketing's one of them, right? There's the way you talk with people, and you have your little system you do. Maybe it's the post closing, whatever that is. Can you give me a little rundown of what your day looks like, or week? But break it up into little segments. Don't go too deep into all of them, but I just want to know what those are. I'll dig in a little bit, but at the end, I want to know what that one thing is that really sets you apart from everybody else, that you say, this is the main reason why I've been so successful.
Yeah. So for me, I believe you have to be good at marketing and execution in the style I'm doing it, right? If you want to grow your business before you grow a team, you got to be really good at marketing and execution. I'm a big fan of Pareto principle. 20% of what I do leads to 80% of the results. I'm constantly analyzing what I'm doing I think self-reflection is one of the biggest things missing in mortgage. We just keep pushing forward in our stressful nonsense, and we don't pause, take a breath, and go, "Why am I here?" I do that a lot. um, so Parkinson's law says work will fill the time you allow it. Pareto principle says 20% of your efforts lead to 80% of your results. So I just always come back to what's my 20%, and can I do my 20% more? And then Parkinson's law, I realized, I with the events I'm doing, I keep hearing myself, and at the last one, I was like, wow, I really apply a lot of pressure to myself. And I think when I don't have that pressure, I don't get to I don't think we ever reach our full potential. But if I have a day with like a blank day, I'm going to look at email all day. But when it's full, everything gets done, right? So that's Parkinson's law at work. So those are really, I think those are the two things that are everything.
So is your calendar like right now, if you were to show me for the whole week, is it just completely color coded and put together exactly the way it's supposed to? Or do you leave spots where you can?
Yeah, I leave space. I'm kind of an analog guy when it comes to a lot of stuff. I'm trying to see. I've used this isn't the best page to show, but is this today? Oh, this is today. So Mondays I don't really plan a lot because it's coming out of the weekend. I figure I'm gonna need to do get prep for offers, pre-approvals, things like that. But it's all tasks that need to be done, calendars. Like I didn't fill in my calendar just because I have that in my Outlook right now. But I like to just have a ton of things to get done. Um, and then what I've realized is, you can look back and go, okay, I didn't do these things. If you procrastinate on something, there's a reason for it, right? Does it not need to be done at all? Or is it just something that doesn't like fill your genius zone, right? So that's really how I look at it. And then, yeah, so I like to apply a lot of pressure to myself. Um, Filling the time makes you more efficient. And that sounds counterintuitive.
No, I think it's true. That comment I made about you don't like to do stupid shit. I think when you're busy and you don't have time to do stupid shit, it's really positive, because you don't allow yourself that opportunity to just do nothing, right? Or do useless items like checking your email constantly. So I think keeping yourself busy is a real key. I know for me it is, because the second I veer from the calendar, I'm like the wind, and then nothing gets done.
Yeah.
So, um, you mentioned the word genius zone. What do you think your genius zone is?
That's a really good question. Now I wish I hadn't mentioned it. Just whatever you get excited about doing. So for me, I love presenting, right? Like on my calendar today, it says plan a lunch and learn for a private event in Marin County. I had to set up an invitation for another presentation I'm doing in another county. I love presenting. It's a lot of fun for me. I really love educating people. Those things get me really excited. So that kind of pushes me into, okay, if those two things get you excited, and those are also my Pareto principle, my 20%, I only need to do two things. That's make videos on the internet and do presentations, one to many. They're fun for me. And so education by way of video and in person, that's what just fires me up. And so I guess that's what I would kind of consider my genius zone, is educating people, which is odd to say, but that's what it is.
Yeah, I think that's great because at the end of the day, it really is about what's going to make you the most money. It's the 80-20 rule, right? And why does everybody waste so much time trying to do all these other things when this is really what brings in the business?
Yeah, and I learned that. So a friend of mine, this is years ago, but this was a kind of a tiny moment, like Dave Savage calls them tiny moments, but pivotal moments. A friend of mine calls. This is when Neil Dingra's like short form videos are going crazy online. He's getting hundreds of thousands of views and followers, and everyone that's doing it Neil's way is, from my perception, having that success. And then I'm feeling inferior. Like, how come I'm not getting those views? How come I'm not getting those followers? And then a friend of mine who had all the followers and all the views, like, I haven't closed a loan in 2 months. And I was like, how is that possible? He's like, it doesn't translate. I was like, well, I've never had that problem. And I go, well, why are you still doing it? And he's like, because I've gone too far to stop. I'm like, if something's not working, you can turn around. Like, I forget. There was a movie I saw with the founders of Patagonia and North Face, and they were saying if you're walking towards a cliff, is it progress to keep walking or is it progress to turn around, right? And that's how I thought at that moment. And so I hung up and I was like, wait a second, like why am I trying to do what everyone else does when I've done well just doing my way? And I sat down and I said, what are my things? And that's how I came up with those two videos and one to many's. Like if I just do those things really consistently, it's not hard to do business.
Yeah, I love that. If you can think of the movie, let me know.
Yeah.
I love that. I
It's
I
called
want to
it's
watch it.
the movie. I'm blanking. Doug, the founder of North Face, he passed away, but his name's Doug. I'm blanking on his last name. Yvonne Chenard and him were best buddies, dirtbag rock climbers that both built, multi-million dollar, multi-billion dollar businesses. The movie's called 180 South. And it's basically a film that follows a surfer named Jeff Johnson, not Jack Johnson, Jeff Johnson, who takes a trip from California down to Patagonia, and it's a great film. But that's where that line came from.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna definitely check that one out. So, out of all the things that you do, what's the one thing that you think you do better than everybody else, or that really sets you up?
I think it's I'll pick two: the pressure that I apply to myself, and then being able to speak at like a fourth grade level. Everyone tells me I make things really easy to understand. And that's what I think is my gift. I can take a complex thing in mortgage and make it to where everybody understands what I'm talking about. So just the language.
It's interesting because I with the podcast, we're going season 2. This is the beginning of season 2, and I've been doing so much work on trying to make it better. And the reason why is because I'm putting out all this effort to do it, money and time, right? Like it's effort.
Mhm.
And the whole first year, I think we got like 25,000 downloads, and then the very following month, something happened, and all of a sudden we got 25,000 just in the 1 month instead of the whole year. And now we're somewhere in the neighborhood of around 80,000 a month in downloads.
Wow.
So it's really like progressing. But then I look at it and I'm like, I'm putting out all this effort and I feel like I'm getting about 50% output. And it really bothers me because it's like, if I'm going through all this trouble, why not fine tune it just a little bit more and get better output of everything you do? So it's like, just like all of us, right? Throughout the day, if we're going to do this in a certain amount of hours, we should do it right so we can get more output out of it. And I've spent quite some time really analyzing the entire podcast. But there's the downloads from Apple and Spotify and all that. There's the YouTube, there's all the social media platforms. And man, when you add it all up, like just all the social media platforms alone is just a lot of work. And one thing I never did is I never actually sat and listened to any of them or watched them afterwards. It's like, well, I was in it. I remember it, right? But there's something magical about watching yourself afterwards so you can get better. You can analyze, you can critique, and then get better at it. And then through that, I was like, all right, we need to fix what we do so that we can just get more out of what we do. Because nothing has to change. We're not going to work harder. We're not going to do that. We're just going to work smarter.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the one thing that I would say about you, just in watching you, not in a creepy way, just in watching you perform the way you do. I admire it a lot because I feel like you're working smarter in everything that you do. So kudos first to that, and
Thank you.
And through that, I've seen you grow a lot by having your own like events now, and you keep them small. You're not trying to do this massive everything. You're just keeping them small. So tell me about your event and why you do it.
So, and thank you for that. I genuinely appreciate that. So, everything to me is purpose and intention. And with what I want to achieve through these events, I can't make them bigger. It needs to be just for the people who are there. I don't want it to be a soapbox. I want it to be, what do you guys need? Here's everything. So the way that came to be, so I, again, went broke, serving loan officers, wanted nothing to do with them as a result. And then started to do well. And people go, Sean, how'd you do that so fast? I'm like, screw you guys. I just did what I've been telling you to do, but I'm not, I'm out. I was jaded. Like I had a huge chip on my shoulder and I was the new guy. I needed to figure my way out as a loan officer. And then, 2021 happens and people are like, will you coach me? Will you coach me? Like as I'm getting to that point. And it was no, absolutely not. And then in 2021, I was like, well, man, like you've done something you didn't even think was possible or never even set a goal for. Like, why can't you serve your community a little bit? And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to coach no more than 10 people a month. I don't know where the 10 came from. It just was the number that came up. And we were doing the one-on-one thing, an hour every other week. And everybody was really good at being accountable. Like I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. And a friend of mine was coaching at the time. And I just remember telling him like, dude, I love that you're accountable. I'd much rather you be disciplined because there's no point in us doing this. And truth be told, I'll make more money if I get my 2 hours a month back. And so I said, this isn't, and then that chip started to come back, right? Like, cause I'm like, why won't you guys help yourselves? And so I was like, this isn't the right way. So I stopped and then, I don't know, I think it was 23. Somebody sends me a text, goes, hey, Sean, what would you think about me shadowing you for a few days? Like come up to your area. And I was driving with my wife and there's all these little moments I can visually see in my head. And I go, what's he going to do? Watch me return emails? Like, I don't know what that's going to look like. Sorry. Oh, do I have to sign?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I got to sign something real quick. No worries. Thank you. Appreciate your help, Sean. Sorry about that, dude. So this guy asked if you could chat. I'm like, what are you going to do? Watch me return emails? And I thought about it and I was like, I wonder what that would look like. And then I was really like, well, wait, could I teach people more in 2 days than I can in a year? And I just started kind of brainstorming this idea and, use Dave Savage as a sounding board. And I mapped it out and I was like, I'm going to commit to doing this. And I was scared because my biggest fear is wasting people's time and money. Right. I have to add value. Like coming on here, I am scared of not adding value every single time I do anything. And I mapped it out and I was like, day one needs to be marketing. Day two needs to be execution. Cause like I said earlier, you have to be good at both. And I called it the tiny event. And, the first group that came, I was like, you guys are taking a chance on me, before anybody else. You're spending time and money to be down here. And I live in Northern California and I do it in Newport Beach. And I didn't change a thing. Like everything I laid out, it was perfect. And I haven't changed, the content will be different, right? Depending upon where things like I didn't have AI in there back then, but now I do. And, it was the most fulfilling thing I've done in our industry. Like everyone was over the moon, so excited. Everyone's done better, served more people immediately. And I'm not an instant results guy, but that's been the result. And I'm kind of addicted to chasing that feeling now. That's why I do it. But it used to be no more than 10 people. I don't know why, just always 10. But after the last one, I was like, 8's the number. I'm only going to have 8 people at a time. And that's, again, it's like, well, Sean, if you're going to build something, you want to make more money. Why wouldn't you have more people? Because I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it for the impact. And it's if I want to make money, I'll just do more mortgages for people. Right. But I can't do it by myself. Like if I can show other people how to find their own way, it's like I get to be the pebble, and just, it spreads out over time. So yeah, it's super, super fun for me to do those events.
It's exciting. I was having lunch with Mark Halbert.
Yeah.
Did you get the text message?
Yeah. I thought I replied to you.
Maybe.
But such a good dude. I showed my wife the picture. She's like, he was amazing. I was like, he's such a good human.
Yeah, he is. He's a great guy. He was telling me about it and I'm like, well, tell me about it. How was it? And he just could not stop talking about how much impact it actually had on his life. So that's why I brought all that up.
Thank you.
So in like the questions I was asking you before the show and all that, like the one thing you were talking a lot about, the market doesn't matter, your mindset does. Can we go deep into that? Because right now there's still a lot of people. I get it. The first maybe couple years, that mindset was hard for people and the market was sucked and it was difficult, but it's kind of just, it is what it is now. There's no more excuses about the market, right? You're either making it or you're not. So teach us everything you can about that. Cause I think this is the key to a lot of people. If they can unlock this, then sky's the limit.
Yeah. So, It starts from emotion. I don't remember where I heard this, but our emotions tell us if we're moving the right or wrong direction. And back in 2020 and 2021, with my wife, it was, oh, we're in the mortgage business, like everything's great. And then in 2022 and 23, it was this negative, we're in the mortgage business, right? Oh, well, times are tough. We're in the mortgage business. I'm like, you weren't saying that a couple years ago. And I'm like, and if you think that something's going to be bad, it will be bad, right? Whether you think you can or can't, you're right. And I found myself getting really angry when she said that, right? And then I look at all these people that are doing far more volume than I am, and I look at it and go, well, if they can do it, why can't I? And so the market isn't the problem. The market share is the problem. If you want to do a lot of volume, right? This doesn't apply if you're like, I want to, like, there's a Steve Calabrese. He travels and has so much fun, and he's not trying to do 100 million, but he's living life just like your buddy in the van, right? Like he's doing it his own way, and I love that. But everyone, and I think I felt that, and then I remember, I forget what year it was, but remember like May 10th or something, Barry like hung his hat on the inflation report, and I remember going to one of the Vegas events, and he said that the energy was amazing, right? I think it was Momentum Builder, and that was in January, and everybody was so excited. And then I'm back in Vegas in June, and it didn't happen at Mastermind Summit, and the energy in the room, like I couldn't wait to leave. I mean, it was dark, and I'm like, wait a sec, everybody hung their hat on rates getting better as being the solution to their problems. And I went, that's not the problem. Like you're so, it made me really sad, to be honest. And I just came up with the rates don't matter. Like, if rates are high, we know that and homes are sitting, we know to do interest rate buy downs for people. If rates are low, we know that there's going to be competition. So the market doesn't matter, and interest rates don't matter. What matters is solving problems for people. Like we've complained in every market, when it's a multiple offer market and we're making offer after offer after offer and they're not getting accepted, it's like, oh, this market's so hard. And then when it's the opposite and homes are sitting and buyers like, oh, I'm not really feeling like I'm in a rush, oh, the market is so hard. I see opportunity instead in both of those. And so, in California, there was 270,000 residential resale transactions done last year. I didn't do 1% of them. I don't want to. I didn't do 0.1% of them, and that pisses me off. Like, I should do 270 units a year. 0.1% of the market? Like, why is that not possible? And so, and you already said the excuses. Like, everyone has reasons for why they aren't where they want to be, whether it's personally or in business. And it's, oh, the market's bad, and the interest rates are bad, and oh, the rates are so high. So high compared to what? Compared to, like, I was guilty of this too, but we were all saying mortgage rates are going to come down. And then I looked at the data on MBS Highway, and it's like, why do I keep saying this? There's no data to support this other than what we think should have happened or what we feel should have happened. Oh, rates were in the 3s and now they're at 7. So like settling in the 5 seems right. I was like, why did we think that? There's no data to support that thought process anymore. And so it is what it is, like you said earlier. So the reasons we have are actually excuses. And I ask people to reframe that and say, you write it down. The reasons I have for why I'm not where I want to be are, and then cross out reasons and write excuses. And you'll feel a difference. You'll be like, because humans don't want to make excuses. Reasons are justified, excuses aren't. And that's where that market doesn't matter comes from. It also removes the victim mindset. Like, if I believe the market doesn't matter and mortgage rates don't matter, then I have no excuse. And I can't feel sorry for myself. And I don't have the excuse to my family of, hey, sorry. Like, I know, we wanted to take this vacation, but because of the market or because of interest rates, no, it's nobody's fault but mine. And again, I like that pressure. And I think whether you like it or not, if you want your life to be different, the only way things improve is through pressure.
I agree. Let's talk about the pressure for a minute, because it is how a diamond is formed, right? And I also believe that too many people bow out when the pressure hits, as opposed to holding out to get the polished diamond, right? And I'm just going to speak from personally, right? Because 2008 was difficult. Um, when the interest rates went up this last time in 2022, I actually stopped producing. That's when I decided to stop producing and started living. Um, but I just thought it was only going to take a year, and then stuff would just start coming in more. But then I gave up on producing, and then other people that work for me weren't producing, and I was like, oh, things are going to start getting a little difficult here, right? And it became difficult, but that pressure, I think, is exactly where I needed to be. Because I know for me, pushing ethos and going the way I have to create what I think is going to be something really special wouldn't have happened if, number one, I didn't have enough time outside of the business. Otherwise, I would have been too consumed with every little thing, right? And number two, that pressure is really what ends up forming the diamond and polishing it. And by having the idea, that wasn't enough. That's not enough pressure. The pressure is now that I'm neck deep into everything and I got all this stuff going and I have to continually make myself better. So just like an example, recently I found myself getting spread too thin. And and then my watch started beeping at me and it told me that my blood pressure was too high. And I was just like, whoa, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like that's never happened before. And it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But it was the best thing that happened because I was like, you know what? It's summertime. I love going to the beach and I never go to the beach anymore. I'm going to start taking Fridays off. And when I say off, it was like by 11 o'clock, right? I get in early at 11 o'clock. I'm done. Still usually more hours than most people work, but I'm going to start taking the kids to the beach and I'm going to start enjoying it. And then I took my kids to Mammoth. We went fly fishing and shooting guns and just having a blast, right? Then I took my wife on a little trip to Arizona and it's like that I needed all of that to help me, but I needed to stay in it and absorb it and feel it in order to come up with a good solution. And I'm saying that because again, people bow out too soon. And you can't bow out. I think that's the key. You have to stay in it and you have to keep trying new things. If that didn't work, turn around, go the other way. If that didn't work, maybe go right into the storm, right? Just like the Buffalo deal.
Yeah. No, well, and I'm glad you said it that way because I think that if there's anything I have that turns people off, it's when I say that they're reasons or excuses and that you've got to apply more pressure, right? That isn't something most people don't want to hear, like the hard way is the way. They want to hear, run an ad on Instagram and get 1,000 leads. It doesn't work that way. And a friend of mine, his name's Michael O'Dowd. He's a Navy SEAL and he's spoken at a couple of my events. And I have a clip that I'll send you later, but he said, if something's hard and something's tough, you better lean into it because what's on the other side of that is probably worthwhile. And I found that every time something's hard, like deals aren't like January, February, March, hands down the best month of my career, 30 units for 30 million. And we were on our pipe call with my processor because there's just the two of us. And she's like, this is so much fun. It was pure flow state, right? April, May, June, July. It's been so hard, but I'm not going to, the moment I start to be like, this is too hard. Like I've realized that I get excited when it gets hard because I know that if I push through it, there is something good on the other side. And at the same time, I think, making time for yourself, like everything you just described, if you make those things a priority, the flow state, like, the universe, God, whatever anybody wants to choose to call it, things become easier when you take the time to fulfill yourself, like you just described. Like my son, you said Mammoth. When my son has his bull riding competition for high school in Bishop, I work from the hotel till 3:00 and I jam up to the mountains and I hike 2 hours uphill to 11,000 feet and catch golden trout. And it's the highlight of my year. But it's really easy. Just keep working, but I just think there's something to be said for what you just said, that it's like the way is, work harder in the right direction, but don't forget to do the things that are meaningful to you as well. Um, but yeah, it's the hard way is the way. And now in the Buffalo, like the lean into it, because the other side's like, okay, you proved that what you said you wanted, you're willing to work for. So now I'm going to give it all to you. That's how it's felt to me over and over. I wish it would just stay in the like, here's everything you wanted phase, but it's like, okay, now you got to prove it again. And that's why, all right, God, I'm here for the challenge. Let's go. Like, let's do it again.
Yeah. I mean, you could sit there and wait the storm out, or you can go after it. One's a little bit harder, but you definitely get to the sunshine at the end of it a lot
Yeah.
faster, right?
Well, yeah, and I don't think you can sit it out. So sorry to interrupt, but like on that thought, so another SEAL buddy of mine, I was at dinner with my son and my wife, and he was talking about the first time he got shot at. Like he's like I've heard gunfire and stuff. He's like, but all of a sudden the ground starts exploding at my feet, and he's like, oh, they're actually shooting at literally me. And he was like, I had to take decisive action, and that phrase stood out to me. He's like, because I've stood still, I'm dead. So I had to move forward. I had to do something, right? If you're a buffalo and you sit still in a storm, you're going to freeze to death. Right. So, and if people are like, from 2022 saying, I'm just going to wait until the rates improve, you're going to go broke taking no action. So pushing forward towards what you want with purpose and intention is the only way that I've ever seen work. Just like you're doing with Ethos. I have a vision. This is going to be fulfilling. I'm not going to, it'll make a difference in my life but I'm going to impact so many more people than just myself if I build this vision of Ethos. And here you are.
So let's go a little bit deeper on that, and I'll circle around to why I'm asking this question. But I have a feeling your mindset, like mine, is incredibly powerful. Like, I know it's my superhuman strength. But what about the people around you?
I mean, that's a great point. I've removed everyone. If there's something in your life that's making you unhappy, remove it. I've removed family. I sit by myself in this office now. There was a person that, I used to work with, and when things were bad, it was, I need a new career and this industry sucks, and cool, get away from me, because I don't feel that way. And it's hard right now, but I'm ready for the hard part, because I know what's on the other side of the hard part.
But let's talk specifically, right? Because this is coaching for everybody listening right now. Oftentimes, let's just say husband and wife, because that's really where I'm going with it. Even if you get this new mindset, I just heard Sean talk, man, I've been looking at this the whole time the wrong way. Fuck the excuses, it's the reason why I'm going to make it work. And then he goes home and his wife's like, but how are we going to pay the bills next month? How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? I mean, you got tension everywhere. Mm-hmm. Talk people through that. Like, what do they do?
I mean, I have that tension every day. I mean, my wife and I, we'll be married 23 years in September this year. Got married when we were 22. Like we're the not supposed to be together couple. And like, we have those conversations now, right? I work a lot, but I want to work a lot, but I also make a lot of time for my family when I'm not working. It's not just get fired up. It's if you get fired up and you say no more excuses, you have to know what the things you are going to do that are truly going to move you forward, because the bills do have to get paid. I'm saying stop doing the things that don't move you forward and go spend that time with your wife, right? Like you said, I do the things that I need to do, and I can go to the beach at 11 with my kids on a Friday. You don't need to work 12 hours a day if you do the things that move the needle. I don't know if I should be giving marriage advice, but like, my wife's my teammate, she supports me, whether it's good or bad. It's like, I know you'll get through it. Like when I said I was going to become a loan officer, in end of November of 2016, I said, this doesn't work anymore. We're broke. We're making IRA withdrawals. Like something has to give. She's like, but you've never done that before. And I'm like, well, what I'm doing isn't working. So what's the risk? The risk is that we're right where we are right now. And she supported it, I just think that you can't be around people that tell you you're going to fail. Like the negative energy will suck you dry. And again, that's where I come back to like self-reflection is missing. If you find yourself in a pity party at your office meeting, don't go to the office meeting. Like, go be with people. I think, I've mentioned SEALs a couple times. Like, my best friends happen to be in that community. I love hanging out with them because I feel their energy of like overcoming adversity, just like you're doing. It's fun. It's more motivating. But if you sit around with people that say it's okay to fail, they might be great people. I don't mean this in the wrong way, but I just don't want to spend time with people like that because I'm not in a place in my life where I'm ready for comfort. That's probably the best way to put it. I like uncomfort currently.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm gonna I want to spin a little bit on just some more strategy type stuff and then bring it to an end. But there's certain things that you do well. Recently, I had one of our loan officers come to me and ask me about open houses and all that, and I actually forwarded them the interview you just did with Dave Savage on your open houses. Would you mind talking about that strategy? Because you
Yeah.
don't actually physically go and do open houses, but yet you do a whole bunch every week.
Yeah, but the irony of that is, it's a glitch and it's being fixed, but, they did a rollout this week and they didn't work this weekend. So we did that podcast Tuesday, and then I went to make a bunch and I couldn't format them. And then a guy who came to my event 3 weeks ago, he's like, "I'm in 10 open houses this weekend." I was like, "How'd you get them to work? Because it's not working for me." So the premise, for me is everything is psychology and we have to add value. So what does a real estate agent want from an open house? If you're going to spend 3 to 4 hours standing in the kitchen, they're there because if it's the listing agent, they're there because they want to sell the house. But if you're the buyer's agent, you're there because you want to meet more people that you can hopefully help buy that house or a different house. I hate the word leads, but you're there for leads. And we want their contact information. So we all guard our contact information so much. Like we were just talking about using an app that will stop people from spam calling us right before we started. We guard our private information, our phone number and our email. And realtors say, "Oh, the seller wants you to sign in." No, they don't. And if that's a barrier of entry, I'm not coming to the house. I'm pretty sure the seller would have rather me looked at the house. So that stuff doesn't work, right? And if you think about it, it's a transaction. If I want something of value, your contact information, I have to give you something of value in exchange. That's a transaction. If your open house strategy is a flyer with photos of the house, bed, bath count, square footage, a couple of interest rate quotes, you've provided no value. They're there because of the photos, bed, bath count, and square footage. They saw it on the internet already, and they also saw the interest rates on the internet. So there's no value in that. And they're going to take that, if they take it at all, and you have no benefit. It's a reactive approach. And so again, I see everything in my head. And when I visualize people walking into open house, I see a couple walking down a path in the middle. There's grass on both sides, 2 staircases, and they walk in the front door. And I'm just thinking of what those people are thinking about. If it's a first weekend open house and it's a good price point and it's, the fixed up one that everybody wants, and they walk into the open house and see a bunch of other people, what are they thinking about? They're saying, "Oh my gosh, I wonder how much we're going to have to pay over ask. I wonder how much competition there's going to be." Well, that's what the open house marketing material should speak to. And so on that weekend, I would have I call them open house engagement kits. And I would say an offer strategy guide, and I would have them displayed, not laying flat piece of paper on a counter, but in like a proper stand up. And it speaks to what it looks like to bid over ask, right? Um, it drives curiosity. Realtors have been like, "Dude, this is really confusing." I'm like, "Yeah." Then they have to come ask you questions, right? I'm trying to create engagement. I want them to walk up to you in the kitchen and ask you questions and go, "Hey, what is this? I don't understand." So let's just use 25,000. Is it worth losing a house over $25,000 in price? Yeah, someone's crazy if they're going to pay them that much more. Is it worth losing the house over $157 a month? No, that's one dinner out. It's the same question. We just reframed it. It's not, and this is my catchphrase for this, copyright 2026, Sean Herrero Inc. It's not what the house costs, it's what the house costs you. When you're using a mortgage, you're not paying the price tag of the house. You're paying a monthly payment. You're paying your cash out of pocket. The lender is putting up the rest of the money and letting you keep all the upside. Like Dino, I came to you and said, hey, let's start a business together. I'm going to put up 80% of the upfront capital. You'd be like, yeah, but then are you going to keep 80% of the profits? No, you can have all the profits. Just pay me like some interest every month and I'm good. Like no business would ever start that way, but that's what a mortgage is. And so we have to reframe how it works. And my hope is that they walk up and let's just say they missed out on 5 houses previously and they go, what the heck? How come my realtor never showed me this? How come my lender never showed me this? I'm switching. And so the realtor needs to be able to speak to that. So, this is a strategy we use with our clients and not what the house costs, what the house costs you. Are you willing to lose the house over 25,000 in price? Kind of an easy yes. Is it worth losing it over $157 a month? Maybe, maybe not. But that's just reframing the perception of value. What's your phone number? I'll text you a link to this presentation my lender made. He has a video and then it explains it way better than I do. Oh, that's amazing. My number is 925-575-0637. Like, because you gave me value. So take my phone number, please. Right. And then when they go to the mortgage coach presentation, they can see what they've already seen, but I have a video there so they can see my confidence, see my explanation, see my personality. So I get to meet them without meeting them. And one guy did this, he did 10, he put this into action 2 weeks after he came to the event. And he said he was in 10 open houses this weekend. You don't need to be there. You just need to add value to the realtor, and the realtor needs to add value to the visitors.
That's really good. When I say it's really good, right? There's a few things that I pointed out or that I want to point out. Yeah. Number one, you just kind of threw this in, and I'm going to say before we even get to all this strategy, you said you looked up for a second. You said, I see everything in my head. And then you started like saying, hey, and I just like captured that in you for a moment where I think that's gotta be one of your like superhuman strengths is that you probably literally see it all.
Yeah.
And it helps you to figure out a solution to all this. So for everybody listening, like that's a really smart thing to do sometimes is sit back and visualize exactly what this would look like if you were walking into an open house. And then just going through the way you presented that, there's psychology and then you also have to add value. And if you're just sitting there doing the typical open house flyer, how are you going to succeed at that? I mean, there's just zero opportunity there. Nobody cares about that. One of my biggest pet peeves is when we hire somebody new and then they come to me and say, do we have like a stack of open house flyers I can choose from? And I'm like, no, I haven't done an open house flyer in 15 years.
Yeah.
Like, seriously?
Yeah.
So awesome there. But these open house engagement kits, can we hone in on that just a little bit? Is it just the QR code? Is it a physical thing as well? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so it's all Mortgage Coach, and it's 4 PDFs, currently 4 PDFs. It used to be 6, so everything evolves, right? It's 4 PDFs, 3 of which are Mortgage Coach. One is the MBS Highway real estate report card, right? And that one is there for the naysayers. Oh, it's crazy if you think you're going to get this much for this house. There's no way the market can keep going up like this. Well, based on this report card from best real estate economist in the country, it looks like home values are going to go up 5% a year, which does seem unrealistic. But if you look at the 63-year average, we're actually pacing with where we've always been. That's why I put the MBS Highway real estate report card in there.
So when you say there's 4 documents, is it like a single landing page and then you just have these 4 documents? Is it how it's like a lot of people are using Housing Link now and then they have all these documents and videos in there?
No, so these are physically printed 8.5 by 11 sheets. So flyers. So I send the real estate agent 2 PDFs, one that has 3 pages, one that has 1. And I tell them to put them in those acrylic flyer stands. Because if it's flat, no one sees it. You want to draw attention, right? Like we're in the business to get attention. So you put it in the flyer stand so it stands out. There's graphs and charts. It's colorful. And it captures people's attention and then also their curiosity. So there's those 4 flyers are there. And by flyers, I mean 3 are Mortgage Coach. 1 is the real estate report card. And then for Mortgage Coach, if you're not familiar with it, every single presentation you make in Mortgage Coach has a specific URL to that specific presentation. So I send the realtor that code and I say, everything we said earlier, I want to draw them in. When they come ask you questions, this is what you should say. And then it's save this link to your notes in your phone. So you can say, what's your number? And I'll text it to you real quick. Right. So the realtor gets their phone number, which is what the realtor wants. I get an introduction, a virtual introduction when they go to the landing page or to the Mortgage Coach presentation. Think of that presentation as a landing page. And I also get notified that that presentation was just viewed, right? So I had a newer agent, she got 8 and she sent me a video. She's like, Sean, this is amazing. I got 8 people's contact information and meetings from one open house. And, I get the alert, a presentation for 123 Main Street has just been viewed. Hey, Leah, somebody just looked at this. So follow up with those 8 people. One of them's going to say, oh my gosh, I just looked at that. Right. That's really it. So, I'm not doing anything special. It's language. Like I said earlier, like I just reframed how we think about things. And the way I came up with this was I used to tell people 2021 or 2020, there are multiple offers on everything. You need to pick your line in the sand. Like you need to be able to go on Redfin a month from now and see it sold for 1,000 more than you offered and be comfortable with it. If you'd be bummed out, then you should go up another 1,000 until you feel that way. I went $100,000 over my line in the sand on my own house. And I remember, I can see this in my head, standing upstairs and looking around and yelling down to my wife, how many bedrooms is this? And she goes 5, but one is like a TV room. I was like, this is a bedroom. It's like 6 bedrooms. Like everyone's going to want this house. I wonder how much I'm going to have to overpay. And if I thought that way, why would I be unique? Like everyone's probably feeling that way in that situation. And I built out a Mortgage Coach and I called my wife into my office and she was crying. And she says, where's all the money come from? And I showed her a Tesla kid I was helping he was 25 years old and had $3 million in his RSU account and probably said becoming a millionaire is easy. I'm like, this is who we're up against, but that doesn't matter. This house is perfect for our family. If we go up higher, this is what it would look like on a monthly payment and cash out of pocket perspective. Like, what if another house like this doesn't show up? And there was 20 offers. 19 of us are going to go fight over the next one, plus other people. And interest rates can't go lower than this. So everything tells me that the next house is going to be more expensive. So if we can make this work, shouldn't we make it work? And then forever grateful I got to overpay for my house. But that's like it. Well, I've been giving bad advice. You shouldn't go 1,000, find your line in the sand. You should make an educated decision based on what a mortgage empowers you to do. And that's what this is.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And one thing, I was envisioning when I was buying my house, which was about 5 years ago, and the things we just went through, and our budget, I think at the time was like 1.5, and I told my wife, if the perfect house comes along, like we're talking so beyond perfect, I'll go to 1.8. And we ended up buying a house right around 2.4 million. And the funny part, man, is that night after we looked at it, that night we're laying in bed and we're talking about it, and it was way over, but I was just so in love, and I was like, I can't be the one to just say this is what we're doing. So I'm like, what do you want to do? And she's like, I mean, can we afford it? And we had that conversation, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, when I started working out the payment, really it was like less than one loan every single month that I had to do more in order to be able to say I can cover it. And then right after that conversation, I remember looking at her. I'm like, you know what, babe, I don't remember where was the garage. I never even looked at it. And she started thinking, she was like, I don't think it had a garage. And I'm like, I can't believe we're going to buy a house for 2.4 million. It doesn't even have a garage, but it didn't have a garage. It's like this old farmhouse with no garage. And I'm just like, my gosh. But the moral of the story is that the things that we will do when we find the right house, and we do not need to assume anything of people, because if it's the house for their family or for whatever the reason is, then our job is to help them be able to see that dream if they can afford it, right? And get them into it. So I think really great insight right there.
Well, like you said something that I think is important. So you said all I had to do was one extra loan. That house created the pressure that was needed to increase your business if you want to increase your business. If it wasn't for that house, you may not have had a reason to do more business, right? So that kind of that's that application of pressure I'm talking about. Like, oh man, I'm already working hard. I don't really want to do more, but this is the right house. This house is worth me working harder for, right? I think that was a kind of a cool thing that you said there.
I always used to tell my clients, like, listen, I'm never gonna tell you you should go buy a Porsche so that you can put more pressure on yourself because you deserve it. But I will tell you that putting a little extra pressure on yourself to buy the better home, I think is always worth it.
Yeah.
Whole different story, right? One appreciates, one depreciates. So same kind of thing. Anyways, I love that whole open house kit piece. I have a follow up question to it though, only because somebody asked me this recently and I didn't know how to answer it. It hasn't been that long since I haven't been producing, like maybe 4 years. But even in the last several years before that, I never had to go out and hunt anymore. Right. It just, even though I got new agents all the time, they were coming to me through various things. And I've almost forgotten about, like, okay, how do you go get brand new agents? And I don't know if you do or not at this stage. Like, is that an active role that you take? And I'm gonna go hunt.
Yeah, yeah, that's the presentations. That's my one to manys. That's I love speaking. And so if I feel like I'm onto something that can truly add value to a realtor's business, I've never done a presentation or a meeting where I said, "Hey, would you like to meet with me and hear me talk about how cool of a lender I am?" Hey, I'm going to do a presentation on how good of a lender I am. Nobody's coming, right? Hey, I've figured out tricks with AI that will hands down make you have the strongest listing presentations in your market to the point that the top agents in your market should be scared. I can say that with confidence that I know how to deliver that presentation. I'm going to do it as many times as I can because if I can get in front of 5 to 100 realtors at once, I'm going to then have meetings off the back of it. I'm very scared of making cold calls. I'm just not comfortable with it. It's just I'm scared. I'm fearful of doing that. And so I can do a presentation and then it's easy to do a follow-up or set up the presentation and now it's easy to reach out to someone and say, "Hey, you should come to this thing," because I genuinely feel with confidence that it's going to add value to them. So I do a lot of presentations, but I think what's more important is how many times we can get business the way you're describing, where you get into contract, you do what you do with your gifting program and everything else that you've like hinted at with me. I don't know what you do, but you've kind of hinted at it. The realtor's like, "I've never seen an experience like this from my clients. Dino, you're my guy now." Like, that's the best way to get business. It's the most fun and rewarding. And what I always say is you have to have a remarkable client experience. And Dino created that. And I don't know the ins and outs of it. But that's why it happened without you trying. I don't want to say without you trying because your effort was fully into your client experience, not your loan process, your client experience. Those are two entirely different things.
Yeah, I never really thought of that, but you're right. My always present program, a gifting experience, is so best in class. I guarantee I'd put it up against anybody, that my confidence level with it was everything I ever needed. Like, I don't care who you're working with. Like, let me show you how I can build, but I wouldn't even have to say that. I let it do its own thing. And you're right. Haven't thought about it, but cold calling sucks. Like, it really does.
Yeah.
And I'm probably scared of it too. I just don't know if I was ever man enough to say it, but probably am. But the presentations, if you have something that's adding enough value, you can feel good. You can get behind that. So I think that's the key right there. I know we're kind of approaching the end here, but man, you just keep throwing new stuff out. If you can, just really quick, and last time we talked, actually, you were telling me a lot about the AI work you do. I do so much in that, and I'm so emotionally involved in AI that I just think it's the greatest thing in the world. I thought I was going to be able to do like 16 hours worth of work in 8 hours, but now I do more like 30 hours worth of work in 12 to 14 hours. I'm not working less, I'm working more, but I accomplish so much, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What what are the big things that loan wise, right? Like somebody could listen to you right now and be like, gosh, that could really help me out. That could make my presentation better. That could make my loan process better. That could make whatever I do better. What are those like top few things?
Yeah. So for me with AI specifically, stop trying to create this perfect prompt and speak to it like it's a marketing assistant or whatever you want it to do, right? Literally speak to it. I don't think you have to say act as my whatever anymore. It's come so far so fast. Um, I use mine as a marketing assistant, and I think what you need to do is just say I wonder if and put it into AI. I've created calculators that I can put a lead generation tool on top of. So if you go to my Instagram, I'll make a video. I did one on it's my favorite one. What was it? It just like everyone says that home ownership's out of reach, but we nickel and dime ourselves to death. So it's called the cost of convenience. And I made a calculator where people can plug in their, I spent $5 on coffee at Starbucks, $12 at Chipotle, Netflix is 25, Pandora's 30, whatever it is. Those subscriptions are costing you this much in house. And I had AI create a calculator for me. And to see the results, I need your first name, last name, and email. Something of value for something of value, right? But it started with, I wonder if I can make this calculator because it'll be of value to people and it'll help people see that homes are not more expensive. We just pay more for things than I drank out of a hose my entire childhood and I kind of miss it. Like I didn't have bottled water, right? And so these little tiny things that are costing us so much. So you can do anything is the idea. But what I think is really important is I think the best way to use AI is if you set a goal, you're going to have a little voice in your head tell you how to reach that goal. You're also going to have a voice tell you that you're going to fail if you try and reach that goal. If you listen to that inspired thought, I call it compulsion. Like I act on compelling thought, go to AI and say, hey, I just had this idea. I want to do this and let it, ideate with you on it doesn't matter what it is. I used March as an example. I know you said one thing, but like it's I wonder if, because there's nothing it can't do. And I don't want you to copy me. I want you to figure out what you want to achieve. In March, I woke up at 3:30 in the morning because I couldn't sleep on a Saturday morning. Was immediately went to my laptop. I was like, you can't just keep working like this. So I went and laid on the couch to like watch a fly fishing video. And I just went in and I was like, these are the things that move the needle. I need to do these things every day on a personal and business level. Right. And this was with Claude. I said, hey, I'm ADD. I need to gamify my perfect day. I want to accomplish these things at these time frames. And it asked me questions. And an hour later, I have like a thing where I get points if I finish these things every day. I've never had a perfect day, but my days are far better than they used to be. And I'm very clear on what I need to do to move the needle. And it was just, I wonder if, and that's kind of become like my new slogan for AI is, the people with the ideas are the ones who win moving forward. It's not the executors of creation. It's the I wonder if, because AI will create it.
Yeah, I love that. I told my kids, specifically my 14-year-old, the 11-year-old still not all that into it, but the 14-year-old, I'm like, dude, I go, listen to me. You have just as big of an opportunity as anybody else out there right now. Your age means nothing. You could be a millionaire by next year.
Yeah.
If you just try things, like whatever you think, I said, just try it. And so he built his first app. Nothing crazy or special or anything, but just the mere fact that he built an app, he was so excited and happy. And like, there you go. See, now you can literally build anything you want. So
Yeah.
I encourage everybody out there. I wonder if is probably the best way that I've heard it explained. And I think you just start and it'll open up doors that you haven't even thought of in the past, which should help you get that motivation going and the juices flowing and the flow state and the whole bit.
Yeah. And then once you create it, now what? Right. So it's I wonder if, and then now what? So cool. You built this really cool calculator. If you don't go talk about it, nobody knows it exists.
Yeah. And Oh yeah, I'm doing nothing but taking notes with you. This is good stuff, dude.
Oh, I love that. I'm super happy to, again, I come into this with fear of not providing value. So I'm very
No,
grateful to hear you've taken a page.
you've given me value.
Good.
And I already know half the stuff, but you're saying it in a different way. So it's very motivating.
That's why I
All
said
right.
that's my superpower is my language is I just say the same thing as other people, but in a different way that seems to light people up.
What was it? Fourth grade level, I think.
Yeah. Well, that came from like looking at my son one day when I was working and he was doing his homework. I was like, I need to write this email so a fourth grader can understand it.
Love it. All right. I'm going to bring this to an end, but
Right.
I just a couple more last questions. What's
Yeah.
your favorite book?
Let My People Go Surfing by Yvonne Chouinard, founder of Patagonia.
Okay. And I'm going to have to go back to episode 13 because I want to cross check what if it's changed at all. But my favorite question at the end here is it's the $1 million drop. If I pick you up, dropped you off somewhere in the United States where you don't know anybody, you have all the knowledge you have an allowance, you don't have a lot of money, you can't just go out and do a bunch of stuff. So you got to go a little, grassroots. How are you going to make $1 million? And keep in mind, you can't come back and talk to your kids or your wife or go see your kid ride a bull, and he's going to be graduating soon. So, like, how are you going to do it as fast as you can?
What I did in 2017. I'm going to do presentations with real estate agents that add value to them and have an incredible client experience. That's all I need to do. That's all anyone needs to do. That's it. Like those are my things.
Yeah, yeah, and so it's true, and I'm good with that answer. Except, can I get you to
Go
to give me
deeper.
just a little bit more? Because as you said, I wonder if, and then you said, now what?
Mhm.
Tell us about the now what, because nobody knows you. So how are you going to make those presentations to the people? Why would they come listen to you?
So I'm going to make videos that speak to the idea that I want to present on. I'm going to blast them to as many realtors as I can. If we want to get real specific, I'm going to use Herrero to pull realtor data in these markets and look for agents that are doing, 12 to 24 transactions a year with multiple lenders, which means they probably don't have a really tight relationship. I'm going to book an event with a non-refundable deposit so that I am uncomfortable and force myself to get it done. I'm going to create my presentation. I'm going to speak to it. And then I'm going to do follow-ups with every person who comes to set one-on-one appointments. And that's what I'm going to do over and over and over and over again. And that's basically what I did in 2017. That's why I love that question, because I already did it.
Let's start with the redder piece, just to break it down a little bit. You said going to agents that have done a certain amount of volume and that have dealt with multiple loan officers. Would you still do it to agents that have done enough volume, but all with one loan officer?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't believe in dibs. Just because you're the chosen one now doesn't mean you're chosen forever. If I can add more value than your current person, we should all be mortgage pirates. We got to steal market share from each other. And if you have a fear of somebody taking something from you, you're going to become better yourself. So I'm glad you asked that. So yes, I would invite anyone and everyone. You have nothing to lose. Invite the top agent, invite Ryan Serhant, and invite the person who just got their license yesterday. You're at zero. There's only one place to go.
Yeah. And you said blast out, so I'm assuming it's all going to be via email?
I
Or
would
do you do
use
a social
media.
strategy with it
Yep.
as well?
I would use social media. I would tag the area. So, if you're going to do an event in Newport Beach, California, when I'd make a social post about it, I'm going to tag Newport Beach, California, because I want it to be specific to that area. I don't have any money, so I'm not going to run ads. And then I'm going to do email blasts. I use BombBomb still. I think I've been using AI to find a better platform for email blasts. I would use that, and I would just get it out. Email 5,000 people.
Do you do your email blast right in BombBomb, or do you just do the video in BombBomb and then use one of the platforms?
I send it from BombBomb. So I actually record the video in Loom now. Because it was one step faster than recording it on my cell phone. Then uploading it takes too long to upload. So I'll record it on this camera here. And what I love about Loom is the AI gives you a subject title and a summary. I'll copy paste the summary from Loom into chat. Here's what I'm sending an email about. Please reword this. It gives me bullets. like AI is in everything I do one way or another, right? Um, but that's
Did you know? Did you know in Loom? Have you seen the SOP button? You
no,
used it.
no.
So in Loom, the right, I don't know, it's on the right hand side somewhere. There's a little button that says SOP, and then it takes your entire video and it breaks it down: instruction, screenshot, instruction,
Oh,
screenshot.
cool.
So it'll literally give you the entire like process of your entire video, but broken out and super detailed. It's
That's
cool.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
but
right,
that's
man.
and the only what I love about that question is so in 2017, because I did what we're describing right now without AI, it wasn't there yet. I did 35 million, so I probably made about 350, right? But you said a million, I have to make $1 million. I think with the way things are now, I could do 100 million year one, starting at zero when you have nothing to do but market and present and get new clients. I think that is absolutely possible now.
Yeah, it it is. And so when you say that, it reminds me of this conversation I had recently, and the person was asking like how many hours they should be dedicating themselves to, getting business, right? It was specifically he was talking about cold calling and various things, and I'm like, well, I've never been a big cold caller, like I've just never been one, but everything you do should be towards how to get business. And I go, the fact that you don't have any loans tells me that you should be doing this 8 to 10 hours a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's nothing else you should be doing that's more important than this. So you're
Yeah.
right. Like you got no business, you can be all in on it. And then I think the next piece is how do you start balancing it?
Mhm.
But that's worry about that one when it
Yeah.
comes, right?
That problem is a fun one to solve when you're like, shoot, I'm too busy and I don't have enough resources, and my wife's mad at me, not because I'm not making enough money, because I'm not home enough. That is the best problem to have.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, thank you. This has been amazing. I appreciate it, dude.
Thank you, dude.
You gave value, like 110% value. This
Good.
is really good.
Very happy to
I
hear that.
hope you enjoyed it as well.
Oh, dude, I love talking to you. This is always fun.
So, guys, I appreciate you guys listening. As you guys know, this is season 2. I'm aiming to give you guys a lot more value. That's why I created season 2, because there's more that comes with it. So head over to the websites, Katsiametis.com. There's going to be a blog there so you can get some more detail about stuff. There's going to be a playbook specifically that comes out of this. So everything Sean talked about in detail, but with concise information for you to actually execute on same day. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, do me a favor, let me know. Like there's nothing better than me knowing that it helped you, whether it's on social or just personally. Let me know. I appreciate it. And Sean, thank you so much for joining.
Dude, thank you for having me.